Hello everybody, my name is William Alves Bezerra. I am a PhD student from the University of Brasilia, Brazil, and I would like to talk to you today about a very gifted writer, contemporary British writer. Her name is Michele Roberts, and specifically, I would like to focus on her creation of actually her recreation of characters from the Christian tradition, especially female characters from the Christian tradition. In her novels, she is constantly dealing with matters of gender and gender relations, especially regarding how women are oppressed in the Christian tradition, especially in the Catholic tradition, Roman Catholic tradition. And I'd like to talk to you um, about her novel named The Wild Girl. And in this novel, Michele Roberts uses a strategy named historiographic metafiction, which was created by the term was coined, so to say, by Linda Hutchin in her study Poetics of Postmodernism. And historiographic metafiction would be the recreation or the appropriation of history made by fiction writers. Metafiction is self-conscious fiction, so to say. So a writer that shows to us that the book is a fiction, is a work, is a construction, is a structure. He doesn't want to create something like the traditional uh, realistic from the heritage of the 19th century of the mimesis, so to say. He shows all the time that the book is a creation. Especially, you have lots of narrators. Some characters are also writers writing the book that we are reading together. So we are reading and writing the book together with the character, who is also the author. So all the roles, the traditional roles of narrative, are twisted. And there is also a very strong connection with history, especially also again recreating it. How do they do it? History is a discourse, just as literature is. History and literature are way closer than some people would like to think. So, isn't a historian also a fiction writer? And isn't a fiction writer capable of writing history? Yes, I think the boundaries are much closer than we can imagine. Sometimes it's even blunder. There is no boundary sometimes. And the fiction of Michele Roberts deals with it. She gets, uh, in this specific case, the white girl, she gets a character which is almost a myth. It's Mary Magdalene. It was before Dan Brown and the Da Vinci Code, and all that. The book is from the beginning of the 80s, the 1980s. So, she she recreates Mary Magdalene in a very um, feminist way, in a very deconstructive way, I would say. Well, we can see some parts of the novel, some bits of the novel, and then how she does it, how she twists the traditional. idea church had created about Mary Magdalene. And she uses also a very strong intertextuality with the Gnostic Gospels of Nag Hammadi. Nag Hammadi is a very small place in Egypt where in 1945 um, lots of manuscripts were found, and those manuscripts are known today as the Nag Hammadi Library. They were translated into English and published in 1978 or 79, and among those texts there was one who was which was very polemic, and it was the Gospel of Mary. It was just written like this, the Gospel of Mary. And this is the one she used, Michele Roberts used. So I will show you a bit of the novel, then we can talk a little bit about how the character behaves and how the writer creates the narrative. I'm going to read to you now directly from the novel. Okay. There is a moment in the novel when Mary Magdalene is talking to Jesus, and then Peter also appears, and he says, Peter says, "You said to us once, Lord, that we should pray in the place where there is no woman, and this is what we have always done. You told us that you have come to destroy the rules of men, of maleness. So how can you let this woman preach like this in front of all of us?" Well, at this point, Peter is quoting from some Gnostic texts. Says, how can you let this woman preach like this in front of all of us? So his problem is with, not exactly with her message, but especially with the fact that she is a woman and she is talking to them like she has an authority. And this is something he can't accept. So this Peter is also a construction, a narrative construction, fictional creation. Why is it so? Because this Peter is a mix of many theologians from the beginning of Christianity. Like Peter speaks, he utters ideas from Saint Augustine, from Saint Jerome, from Origenes. He's something like a compendium of patristic. And of course, this is way more sophisticated than one would expect from the traditional Peter, who is sometimes considered, and he was considered like this by the Gnostics, as someone who is not very gifted, intellectually speaking. He was not very capable of abstract thought. So he was very, 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 very down to earth, sometimes far too much. And then Michele Roberts creates a different Peter, a Peter who is much more clever, who is much more subtle, and who is very misogynist sometimes. In the next video, we're going to proceed with some more details from the novel.